Hey guys, okay, so let's go ahead and start breaking down these two new characters. We have a Sparking Tambourine, and then we have an LF Demon King Piccolo. Only 7 years it took them, but we are so ready for this. All right, so Tambourine, what are we looking at here? We don't have the full kit available for him, but we do have a little bit of information here. Looks like Element Green, a lot of green characters that are very good right now. Support type DB. He doesn't have regen or anything, so I guess it's literally just going to be leader slot for him right now. This is kind of reminding me of the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta banner a little bit, right? When Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta dropped, Daima really wasn't a fleshed out team, and you really didn't have a full Daima roster to really run at that point. You kind of just threw Vegeta onto a like Vegeta clan setup and you ran him like that. That's probably what's going to happen until we get the rest of the DB buffs, right? We know we're getting Launch Zenkai. We know we're getting unique equips for the 23rd World Tournament Goku and Piccolo. We know we're getting a second LF character who's also going to have at least one other Sparking on there. Probably going to be getting some kind of either Zenkai or unique equip for Path to Power Kid Goku. We have a lot of Dragon Ball buffs coming, so this is just the first part of this buff sequence here. So I think it might be a little bit tough to find a spot for this guy right now, just because he's literally only on DB, and DB's not really a very fruitful tag right now. But okay, so he's going to be buffing DB green or yellow with his Z ability, which they typically do for characters that don't have a lot of teams, which makes sense. All right, we can take this off. Strong synergy with tag DB. When there is at least one other tag DB ally battle member, ally damage plus 30%. Ally sub counts on switch -1. That is the Super Saiyan 4 Goku ability. That is very strong. When you have characters that are constantly manipulating sub counts, like the Daima team has, you guys really noticed how much value you can get out of something like this. So we'll have to see if that's how they want to build the DB team as well. Are we going to have a team that's constantly switching in and out like Daima with DB? Because if so, that -1 sub count is going to be really, really powerful. But just a permanent 30% damage to all allies is, of course, very strong. So far, he reminds me a lot of the Majins, which I guess makes sense. Outstanding subcount reduction ability. Okay, there we go. On cover change, ally subcounts -3. Enemy key -30. Enemy Dragon Balls -1. That is strong. He actually kind of looks like Super Saiyan 4 Goku a little bit with these intangible things that he's doing, like the -1 to subcounts, the Dragon Ball destruction, all these things. Remember, Super Saiyan 4 Goku also lowers ally subcount when he gets hit, so kind of similar here too. When on standby, an ally is hit by an enemy arts 2 times. Subcounts -1. That's got to be to self, right? Yeah. So manipulating his own subcount there, which is like Majin Q, I think, or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta does that, I think. Yeah. Gain Dragon Balls to boost attack, evasiveness, and more. When on battlefield and 1 Dragon Ball is gained, 10% critical rate up to 30%, vanishing gauge plus 50%, and then nullify special cover changes 3 counts. You know who this reminds me of? This reminds me of the blue Daima Goku, actually. Let me pull this up. Not the Super Saiyan 4 one. Let me just get to him from here. It's this one, this Goku. This Goku actually has a little bit of a stronger ability, I believe. Let me see if I can find it here. Falling effects every time own Dragon Balls increase by 1 on the battlefield. He gets 70% vanish, whereas this guy only gets 50. This guy also gets cover null, I believe, as well. But yeah, here we go. Every time own Dragon Balls increase by 1, cover null for 10 counts. So a bit of a weaker ability than that blue Daima Goku has, but again, this is not the full kit of the character, so we'll see how this works. But it's the same premise as that blue Daima Goku. When not defeated and 1 Dragon Ball is gained. Oh my god! Do you guys know what that means? Ally health plus 5%, ally damage plus 15%. Cancel ally attribute downgrades. Do you guys know how stupid this is? You know why? It's because he could be on standby and doing this. If you... So let's just get this straight. So the beginning of the fight, he's giving 30% damage, right? just straight up. He's giving 30% damage to all allies. That's just a permanent uncancelable buff that he's just giving to the team as long as you're running one other DB character. And then even if he's on standby, every single time you gain a Dragon Ball, he gives the team 15% damage. And now it's only temporary, it's only for 10 counts, but think about how fast teams get Dragon Balls now. And it sounds to me like they're probably building the DB team around just collecting Dragon Balls. So if you think about like the green Daima Goku, how fast he gets Dragon Balls, so he gets a Dragon Ball for evasion, evading, gets a Dragon Ball for swapping out, gets a Dragon Ball for cover changing. Like, you're getting Dragon Balls very quickly. So we could be talking, if you want to factor in like the 30% support he's already giving to the whole team, we're talking like this guy supporting the team for like 80% damage or something. This could be insane, like really, really insane. We'll see, but that is pretty insane. Canceling ally attribute downgrades is pretty good too. Every time you gain a Dragon Ball, so let's just say you're attacking Beast Gohan, right? Ultra Beast Gohan. Ultra Beast Gohan is stacking up the cost increase debuffs on your team. If you simply just click a card that has a Dragon Ball on it, you will remove all of those cost increase stacks. This guy will remove those for you from standby. From standby, not even on the from standby. To me, this is probably the most impressive thing we've seen, and also the healing too. Like, you're getting, eventually you're going to get 7 Dragon Balls, and eventually you're going to get more than 7 Dragon Balls, assuming you get a rush off and then you start collecting more. So he's going to be healing the team for over 35% health throughout the course of you getting those 7 Dragon Balls, and then possibly more depending on how many Dragon Balls you get after that. But okay, this effect is insane. But obviously he has to be alive because this is when not defeated. But this to me so far, I think, is the most impressive thing that they've shown about this guy so far. All right, we got one more page here. Remove debuffs with the main ability. Hopefully he removes abnormal conditions. Destroys 1 random card, then draws ultimate arts. Okay, so he actually opens up a slot in his hand to draw this, which is nice. 30% health, 50 key. Yeah, here we go. Cancel attribute downgrades and normal conditions. Yeah, we're really looking for that now at this point, right? Not only do you need to cancel attribute downgrades, but also abnormal conditions is also very important. If you're paralyzed because of Majin Ku, because of Majin Du, you really need to remove. We really have to have the option to remove the paralysis with the main ability. It's really, really important. Cancels enemies attribute upgrade. So potential. But this guy has the potential to cancel enemy type neutrality and things like that. Seals all enemy main abilities for 10 counts. That's pretty good. So this kind of reminds me of like Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's main ability, which seals enemy main ability and Rush. I feel like they could have probably added Rising Rush to this as well, but seems pretty decent. Removing abnormal conditions is important. But okay, yeah, so obviously we don't have the full kit here for Tambourine, but this to me seems pretty damn impressive. So there we go. We'll have to look at the full kit tomorrow. Let's move on to the big guy. All right, I have to upload that reaction real quick. We are ready to go here. So just before we jump into this is going to be the first premium character that we're going to be breaking down with the new format. So there might be some things in here that I'm just not going to be able to really understand or grasp until we use the character. I mean, that's usually how it goes anyway, but with this new format, it's probably going to be even more of a factor. So we'll go into this, but I might not be able to give my sort of like accurate thoughts until we actually use the character. An attacker that gets buffs as you gain Dragon Balls. Okay, sounds kind of like Path to Power Kid Goku. Legends Limited Demon King Piccolo joins the fight. Strengths. So number 1 is super powered Rising Rush. Yeah, get rushed, bruh. Gain 2 Dragon Balls as on activation, so it's very similar to Tamagami 3. That I can already tell you, as somebody who just played the hell out of Proud this last season, this guy's already going to be a Proud machine. 2 Dragon Balls when you rush, that is insane for Proud. Tamagami number 3 in Proud is insane. 2 Dragon Balls on activation and reduce your opponents by 3? That is insane. Okay. Plus, you'll even penetrate enemy endurance. Okay, man. Gain Dragon Balls easily. As if you didn't already mention that, he gains 2 when you rush. Your Dragon Balls will be protected for 50 counts from the start of battle. Unleash a super-powered Rising Rush fast. You know why that's really helpful? The reason why that's really helpful is because of this guy. This guy destroys 3 Dragon Balls. I believe it's one every time he swaps in. So that's actually really strong. That's like actually like a pretty, I don't want to say it's a counter to Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but that's a very effective tool against Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Okay, unleash a superpowered Rising Rush fast. Number 3, Dragon Ball type unique gauge. Okay, yeah, again, sounds like Path to Arcade Goku. Every time you gain a Dragon Ball, the unique gauge will charge, and when on the battlefield, Demon King Piccolo will get a damage boost. When you charge the gauge fully, get a big boost to special move and ultimate damage inflicted. Strike fear into your enemies' hearts with Legends Limited Demon King Piccolo. He is purple! That's finally, dude, finally we get a purple. I'm hoping he's like actually really good, because the last purple we got, that Goku is good, right? The Cell game Super Saiyan Goku, he's good, but I mean, you know, compare him to like everything he released near, and it's, you know, it's not as impressive as we would have hoped. But purple is easily the worst color in the game. So, you know, we have like, dude, let me open up the, let me just open up the list of green. Let me actually go back, and I'm going to save this tab. Let me open up just a new tab here. Let's just take a look at green. What good green characters are just running around right now? Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Ultra Rose, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Every now and then you'll see a transforming Vegito Blue. This Goku's really good. You see a Omega like very rarely, but he's still around. God Goku's still around. Like, dude, green is insane. Green is so crazy. Easily the best color. So I'm really happy we're getting like a hopefully super powerful purple unit here. And of course, regen, powerful opponent, and DB. So not only is he on DB, but you can also run him with characters like Cell, Turles. You know, him being purple actually does open up the doors for a lot of these characters. Cell getting a character that you can run with that's purple, right? I mean, Demon King Piccolo potentially being weak to yellow characters like Majin and Vegeta. Well, you have Cell to help him out, right? So that's good. All right, let's see. So the last, what is this? Okay, it's this right here. If tag, DB, regen, or powerful opponent, 38% strike attack, 30%. Okay, so he's a melee character, which makes sense. I mean, we kind of knew he was going to be melee type there. They've been building the DB team to be melee based, because we had the Cyborg Tao, who was a melee type, and then we had the Zenkai for Yamcha, who was a melee type as well. I mean, we're getting the Launch one. Launch is getting a Zenkai. She's not a melee type, but it definitely looked to me like they were building the DB team to be more melee based, strike based. That's good. And then DB gets an extra 18% strike defense. Strike has armor, so charge him without fear of enemy blast arts, plus the enemy's damage received will also be increased. Okay. Blast armor, and then 10% to enemy damage received. And then it looks like the same thing with the blasts. On activation, enemy damage received plus 10%. So you don't even have to land these. Right? If you like armor cancel with your strike card, this is still going to apply, because it's on activation. If you match your opponent's blast card in long range, you're still going to apply this. So that's pretty good. The blue card, so it does have blast armor. It's obviously a melee blue card. On hit, inflict subcounts on the enemy. One time only, you'll even reduce their Dragon Balls by 1. All right, so massive damage, special move damage plus 30%. On hit, enemy Dragon Balls minus 1. All enemy subcounts plus 3. Blast armor when charging forward. Definitely not like a super broken blue card, but destroying a Dragon Ball in this is pretty nice. And then enemy subcounts plus 3 is pretty nice too. You can follow with like a blast or something and make them vanish. Okay, the green card is a stop time. We know what this looks like. This green card does look very good. It's when he powers up. Nullify enemy special cover changes and cancel your attribute downgrades in normal conditions. Canceling abnormal conditions, huh? Okay. Draws a card, 50 key, 20% damage for 15 counts. Nullify special cover change for 5 counts. That's like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I believe, has the same thing. I believe it's 5 counts of cover null with this green card. Yeah, it's the same thing here. Honestly, it's a pretty similar like green here, right? Draws a, I mean, this is a random card, whereas Vegeta draws a strike. Vegeta is healing, whereas DKP is not healing, but DKP is getting a little bit more key. This is the most important thing right now. That cancel attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. Vegeta does not do that. Vegeta does not do that. This is the most important thing on this. Is this. So if Majin Ku or Majin Du paralyzes you, you can simply pop this. You know what other character does this? And the reason why I know this is because I've been using this character nonstop this season. Is this. Oh, where is he? Let me scroll down a little bit. This guy. This guy's green card removes abnormal conditions. Really, really, really powerful. But yeah, that's really good. All enemies sub counts on switch +3. That could be interesting. It's stackable. You could stack that. If there's like a new, I don't know how Tambourine's going to be, because we only saw part of his kit, but if we start looking at this Demon King Piccolo and he has multiple ways of like generating green cards, or maybe in the second LF banner, there's a character that's giving like a ton of green cards. Maybe a character is holding a green card, pretty unlikely, but maybe it's a thing. If you just have a ton of green cards available to you with this DKP, this could actually like really hinder Daima. If you just spam the hell out of this green card, you could like, you could pseudo lock somebody in for like 10 counts, right? They swap out and all of a sudden they have 20 sub counts where they can come back in. That's a big deal for the Daima team because that team thrives on switching. So this actually could be pretty good, but we'll have to see how that's going to play out. All right, ultimate. If the unique gauge is full, then you'll destroy your opponent's entire hand and cancel their attribute upgrades and buff effects. Okay, so yeah, canceling attribute upgrades and buff effects on ultimate activation means that you can remove opponent type neutrality. So if you're going up against a green unit that goes type neutral when the enemy uses an ultimate, that's not going to be the case anymore because of this. That's actually pretty good. Massive, they didn't give him supreme. Massive damage, 30% ultimate damage, penetrate endurance. Also, when unique gauge is full, destroys entire enemy hand, cancel attribute upgrades, buff effects, and blast armor. Okay, seems like a pretty standard ultimate, but this is strong. Canceling buff effects and attribute upgrades is really good. Main ability. Protects your hand from being destroyed and nullifies attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. So again, has another way of removing abnormal conditions. Use this ability when you're ready to go on the offense. Draws an ultimate arts card next. 20% health, 50 key, protect hand for 20 counts. Not only does he, he completely nullifies. So he can't even be afflicted with paralysis for 20 counts. So if you go for like this ultimate and you remove Majin Du's endurance or something with this, right? You'll actually won't. This Demon King Piccolo will be protected from being paralyzed by Du, right? That's pretty good. All right, so we have these new structured abilities here. We have starter abilities. Protect your Dragon Balls from being reduced for 50 counts. After battle starts, it'll be easier to build up your Rising Rush. So 270% damage. So that's like right around what the Super Saiyan 4 Goku had. I believe Super Saiyan 4 Goku was 10% more damage. Yeah, so it's pretty similar. Damage guard 130%. I don't really know. Okay, so let's just pull up a character we know. Cyborg Tao has, what is it, 90% damage guard? Damage guard 90%. So Tao has damage guard of 90%. Tao is made of paper. So I don't know. Like I can't just look. Like I know what damage guard is. I know what the stat is. It's them basically renaming sustained damage cut to damage guard. But what does 130% damage guard actually feel like, and how does it perform in the game? I have no idea. So this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning of this breakdown, where I'm saying I can read this. It has 130% damage guard, but I don't really know what that means. I don't know what that feels like. Does he take, how much damage does he take from a Super Saiyan 4 Goku strike card? No clue. I don't know. So this is something we're going to have to just see with our own eyes when we use him. 50% Q recovery is nice. He does get draw speed. Okay, so they didn't give, I believe they didn't give Tao draw speed, and then the Zenkai for Yamcha, I don't think they gave him draw speed either. So they are giving this guy draw speed, which is nice, of course. Strikes / blast arts cost -5. Protect Dragon Balls for 50 counts. Yeah, this is really powerful. This is actually one of the things that the Fusing Super Vegito has that I thought was a really strong ability. How much is there? Is there 30 counts? I think it's 30. Let me just double check so I can familiarize myself with this. I don't remember where it is. Just do Dragon Ball. Where does it say this? Oh, it's every time they get a Dragon Ball. for 10 counts. Huh. I think I just prefer this, because the way that this is set up, I mean, the way that they explained it in the beginning, and we haven't even looked at his unique yet, but the way that they explain this in the beginning is you're supposed to just rush like right away with this character. So what they're saying is by when the timer counts hit 130 timer counts left in the match, you should have rushed already. All right, let's see. Unleash a super powerful Rising Rush. Gain 2 Dragon Balls and reduce the enemies by 3 on activation. You'll even penetrate endurance. When you have all 7 Dragon Balls, subcounts will be reduced by 10. So even if an ally... Wait, hold on. When you have all 7 Dragon Balls, subcounts will be reduced by 10. So even if an ally gains the last one, you'll be able to quickly swap in Demon King Piccolo to launch a Rising Rush. Interesting thing about this, I guess, just to quickly mention this. This is going to be a pretty niche thing. But if you're a very seasoned player, and actually this is an issue with the UI of the game more than anything, it should tell you, I think, like there should be white text or something that pops up on the screen like over your opponent's character that says like sub count reduced or something that will tell you when the opponent has a Rising Rush ready, right? So that's something I think maybe people will need to start paying attention to if this Demon King Piccolo becomes like a menace or something, right? When that text pops up, that's when you know the opponent has a rush. I think it should work that way. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. On battlefield entry, draws up to 2 cards. 2 cards! Draws 2 cards. Usually it's not 2, it's 1. 2 cards. 30 key. Nullify special cover changes for 5 counts. Yeah, it's the same thing as Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Dragon Balls +1. That is a super powerful ability. It's not the same thing as Omega Shenron, because Omega Shenron just starts, like you start the fight and immediately he gets a Dragon Ball, which is probably a little better, but it's not much different. That's a really, like, this is the kind of ability where like you have to kind of just expect your opponent to have a rush after 1 combo. It's one of those things. Destroys 1 enemy card. Okay. Also, if unique gauge is full, nullifies element disadvantage. So he's going to be type neutral offensively. Enemy strike / blast arts cost +10. That's I was gonna say that's a lot, but we've seen better. 10 is definitely annoying, but it's not like, oh my god, cannot deal with that. Like it's not that crazy. When on battlefield and Dragon Balls held reaches 7. So if you get the final Dragon Ball when this guy enters the battlefield, 10% health, 10 key, and 20% damage. Okay. When on standby and 7th Dragon Ball is gained, he just reduces his own sub count by 10. That's pretty good, because clearly you want to rush with him. On Rising Rush activation, destroy entire hand, then... Okay. Destroy entire hand, and then you draw 1 of each card so that it becomes harder for your opponent to guess. I do like that. One of the things I hate the most is when I click the rush button and I have like 4 blasts, or I have like 4 strikes, and then it's like, what the, I have no, like, I have no agency over what happens. I pick a strike card and the opponent just picks a strike card. I had no chance to have the rush go through. Like, I actually do like this. It at least gives you a chance to have the rush not be guessed. 20% health, Rising Rush damage, 40%. Yeah, I knew this was coming, man. Where's the video? You know, no. I remember what video it was. And I actually recently did a video talking about this video that I made. This was, I think it was right when part 2 of Legends Fest dropped. And I'm like, okay. We have ability A gets countered by ability B, ability C counters ability B, ability D counters ability C, and this is a forever, you know, like the tumbleweed effect, snowballing effect, or whatever. I mentioned this in that video, where eventually we were going to get the Ultra Vegito Blue / Ultra Gogeta Blue Endurance Nullifying Rising Rush ability, but they would simply just add this line of text to it. And lo and behold, they've done it. It's here. We have it on the screen. Penetrate Endurance, uncancelable. So buff removal exists unlike every character. It does not matter against Demon King Piccolo. He also gets 2 Dragon Balls. Allies sub count -10 is actually really good, because if your rush gets guessed and you just can't switch out of the character, like you could very easily die because of that. So that actually does help. This is insane. Honestly, this might be, besides this might be the most absurd thing about this paragraph here, or this listing right here. -3 Dragon Balls is crazy. That's like the main thing that makes that purple future Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta as good as he is. -3 Dragon Balls is nuts. And this character is structured in a way to where they want you to be rushing with him like as fast as possible, pretty much, right? So if you get this rush off like within the first like 30 counts or something absurd, right? Your opponent's gonna have no Dragon Balls because you're gonna destroy all of them, and then you're already gonna be 2/7 of the way to your next rush. So yeah, that is this is a net gain of like 5 Dragon Balls on your opponent, right? Because you gain 2 and you make them lose 3. This is supposed to be, I think, a reference to the OG Yellow Demon King Piccolo, who stole 2 Dragon Balls from your opponent. That ability was so broken. Honestly, that would still be a broken ability right now. If they just gave this guy, you could steal 2 Dragon Balls with his main ability, it would still be broken. But that's essentially what this is. They just tied it to his rush instead. When hit by an enemy arts, activation resets on switch. Enemy strike. Oh, here we go. Now we're talking. +10 to cost. Because this is already going to stack on this. I guess his unique gauge has to be full, though. That is the stipulation on this. But if his unique gauge is full and he like cover chains or something, he's going to increase your cost by 20. That's not nothing anymore, right? I said 10 was like, 10 is it's okay, but it's not really that great. 20, we start to become pretty annoying at that point. When ally is defeated, okay, he gets another Dragon Ball. Damage plus 20%, all enemies health restoration minus 30%, and all enemies draw speed -1. All right, that is only for 15 counts, but this is kind of just an extra bonus. Another Dragon Ball is just like, okay, he just gets so many Dragon Balls for free. When on battlefield, an enemy activates ultimate, awakened arts, or rising rush. Cancels enemies buff effects. And then subcount -10? -10. So, I mean, there's... I think if Tambourine was going to get endurance, they would have already mentioned it, but there's gotta be a character in the next banner, whether it's the 1% sparking or the Legends Limited character, probably the Legends Limited character. I mean, it's going to be Goku, right? The OG Legends Road Path to Power, or not Path to Power, the OG Legends Road Kid Goku does have endurance. So there's no way they don't give him that. So I think what they're going to do is they're probably going to give that Kid Goku endurance, and they're going to want you to have this Demon King Piccolo on the field, him being able to lower his sub count, and then also remove enemy buff effects. You can just go into that Goku, but this is a really good thing to have here. 3 times as well. 3 times is pretty crazy. Okay, special cover change against strikes. You can combo this with the blue card. Unique gauge. When you fill up the unique gauge, you'll get a big boost to special move and ultimate damage. You'll even get Dragon Ball protection again. Okay. When unique gauge becomes full, health plus 50%. He just heals like almost all of his HP. Because like you're healing, right? Remember, whenever you get a Dragon Ball, Tambourine is healing you. Special move / ultimate damage plus 50%. 50% special move damage and ultimate damage. 80% ultimate damage. And then 80% special move damage. Okay. Health restoration plus 20%, special move arts cost -10, protect Dragon Balls for 50 counts, and then each time 1 Dragon Ball is gained while not defeated, which sounds to be pretty easy with this guy. He seems pretty good to me. Again, the biggest question mark though is going to be how good is this? How good is 130% damage guard? No idea. I don't know, but that's going to be something I'm going to want to test. It seems like a good unit. I think he's going to bring a lot of damage. 270. I mean, he's getting... This is temporary damage. Temporary damage here. Temporary damage. Actually, no, this is permanent damage, but it's when an ally is killed. And then he has extra damage to the blue and ultimate cards here. I feel like he's going to be like this. This is a character that actually might be a lot better in Proud than Standard, just because of the way that like most Proud matches are determined by going to timer and doing more damage. And if you can consistently not only rising rush, but at the same time as you rising rushing, preventing your opponent from rising rushing is just like in a mirror match between like two Demon King Piccolo players, whoever rushes first is going to have such an overwhelming advantage. Because you have this and this. Like, you win, I think. I don't know. And then you have the extra damage, too, here. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. This is... We'll see. I think he looks pretty solid, though. Again, it's going to be... There's going to be an experimentation period with this guy, but I do like what he's bringing to the table. I think... People, I mean, if he's actually going to become like one of these main characters that we see running around a lot, because remember, he's not only going to be on DB, he's going to be on Powerful Opponent too with like Cell. So you could theoretically, I mean, you don't even need to give Cell the rush, because this guy also does the same thing that Cell does with his rush. He just nullifies endurance forever. But you're going to have a character that is like permanently nullifying endurance. Is that unlimited times? Let me actually just double check. Is that just once only? On Resurrection activation, no, it's every time. Oh no, it is one time only. Yeah, this is one time only. Okay, so like what you could do, I guess, is you could use this once with Demon King Piccolo, and then the second rush you get, you just rush with like Cell, right? So yeah, we'll see. This could be a character where if he does become like a very common unit to fight against, I could definitely see people calling this character toxic because of that. But let me know what you guys think of Tambourine and Demon King Piccolo. We'll be doing a stream tomorrow to summon for him, and we will actually have the full kit of Tambourine available tomorrow as well that we can take a look at. Hope you guys enjoyed. Finally, a real Demon King Piccolo, and I'll see you in the next one.